So let's look at the cost per tree. According to the information given us, the town is spending $13.93 per tree, okay? The town's getting $62.10 benefits per tree, those benefits we just looked at. The cost per capita per person, $10.47. After all the costs are deducted, the benefits per capita, $48.17, and this benefit cost ratio of $4.46, that's what each citizen is getting for every dollar. That's the bang for the buck. For every buck spent, you're getting $4.46 back in ecological dollar benefits, and those are avoided costs for the community. Return on your tax dollar. And again, just some interesting things we saw, just to break up all those charts I had to show you. Cavities and hollows, significant risk trees. You do have a lot of trees that need to be removed. 42 trees need removed. 93 need pruning, maintenance, or staking. 123 have overhead utility conflicts, and 247 have sidewalk conflicts. So those are things that you need to think about. No surprises to you. You know, when we were looking at them, it's no surprise. Every community kind of has the same stuff. And when something's staked, after 1 year, take those stakes off. And this stake system is actually a liability. There is a staking system that you just use a farm post, one of those skinny metal farm posts whose name escapes me at the moment. And it's a rubber gray thing, and it's got a rubber band, and you can adjust it, this rubber band that lasts for years and years and years. And you can reuse the staking system, and you don't have this tripping hazard or a mowing issue, mowing obstruction. And those are called, the ones that we use they're called Timato stakes, and they're manufactured by a man named Emil Kleinert, who lives in the New Albany area, manufactured in Indiana. But anytime you see a conch inside a tree, you better wear a hard hat, because that tree's not healthy and it could fail at any moment when you have hollows in trees like that. If your urban forest blew down, okay, if it all died, you would have to spend $952,329.16 to replace it. Okay, that's a full cost of replacing trees in their current condition, and that's using current appraisal methods. So, you know, it pays to take care of your trees, and it pays to plan ahead with a storm plan, an emergency response plan. What are you going to do if your trees all get knocked down, like Henryville and Marysville recently? And I was just telling some people tonight, Clark State Forest, which is near Henryville, lost over 1,000 acres of timber and forest in that tornado. And they're having people to come in to bid on salvage for those trees. And the state forester has been there for the last 2 weeks, and we've had people also in the Henryville area, but he's been up there and he's sending pictures back to us, and they look like toothpicks. It's amazing. And, you know, did we have a plan? He had a salvage plan in mind when he went up there, but towns need a plan too. How are you going to respond? I know most towns have plans on how they're going to respond to disasters of some sort, but are they thinking about their trees at the same time? It's something to think about, and we have copies of storm plans that we will share with you that other towns have done. So, we did a sample urban statewide inventory, which I told you about. I think I might have mentioned it. And the whole state's in the same shape with maple trees. Our main provider is silver maple. Our main species in this state, and it can't be any surprise when you walk along any sidewalk in any town in the state of Indiana, is silver maple. Okay, Pam, state coordinator, we got Asian longhorn beetle coming and you have too many silver maple. But it's a silver maple driving all the wonderful benefits that the state's getting. The state of Indiana is getting over $79 million annually in benefits from all the street trees in throughout the state. Our next species is ash, emerald ash borer, you know. Yeah, there's treatments for it, but treatments cost money, and most cities and towns don't have money to spend to treat all of their ash trees. So you choose your most significant ash trees. And the next is elm. Well, what do we have with elm? Dutch elm disease. It goes away for 20 years and it comes back. So, you know, and then we have the oaks and crab apples and Callery pears, an invasive, and it was kind of interesting. The foresters in the state are always telling me, quit funding Callery pear. It's an invasive tree. So we've been looking at that, and I was driving down here today, and I saw so many Callery pear blooming on the woodlot's edges. And today I could really see it really well, and I know exactly what they were talking about. But that's Indiana's main species list. So that's what Susie told us. But look what ecosystem service values the urban forest is providing us. Again, aesthetics and economics, 52%, 31% stormwater, energy conservation, 12%, and again, the carbon down to 1%, and air quality, 4%. But I can't understand why people don't want to put money into trees when they see these environmental benefits that we can do for our state and for our cities and towns that doesn't really cost a lot of money. They're not giant windmills that are killing the bats and other critters. They're not huge nuclear plants, things like that, and all those things are probably necessary, but gosh, plant a tree, make a difference. I just think it's all right there. It's all right there, based on science. The state forester told me when he was appointed 8 years ago by Governor Daniels, he said, you show me the science that the urban forest is important. So I got to work and I showed him the science, and he understands it. So for more information, you can contact me at any time. I want to talk to you about some other things too. Let's see. Let me make sure I covered everything for you. I think I did. Oh, you're a Tree City USA, and based on what you send with your expense report with Tree City, the town is spending about $9 per person on the planting and maintenance of the urban forest on public property. That's a significant investment for a community of this size. It just shows a lot of caring. It's important to alert private landowners as to the value of the urban forest, and to have tree giveaways for Arbor Day at your chili cook-off so that residents can plan to plant trees on private property. You know, that'll help them plant on private property. To increase the age diversity, fill the vacant tree spaces that exist for all size ranges. You don't have very many vacant tree spaces, but as those large trees go down, you're going to be having more, so you need to pay attention to that. As you plan to plant, consider the benefit you want to plant for. If you have an area that's flooding, plant some trees for stormwater interception. If you have an area where people just seem to really be suffering from pollution, if there's grit, stuff on windows and things, plant some trees that are really good at sucking up air pollution. And we have lists of those trees and different pollutants they will suck up. Not only that, but what pollutants they emit, because people with asthma can't be around certain trees. That's another consideration with trees. Species to avoid based on emerald ash borer and Asian longhorn beetle. Of course, emerald ash borer, we don't plant any Fraxinus right now. In a few years, we probably will as they develop resistant strains, as they've developed resistant strains of elm. But other trees that you can't plant, that you shouldn't plant just because of Asian longhorn beetle coming, is birches, Ohio buckeye, elms, horse chestnut, willows. Be cautious planting mountain ash, London plane tree, mimosa, and other poplars. Species to consider that tolerate urban stresses. Even though this is a nice little town far, far away from Evansville and Indianapolis, there are still urban stresses. You have vehicular traffic, and that causes pollution, and people pollute. So you have urban stresses. Consider hickories, hackberries, American beech, honey locust, Kentucky coffee tree, seedless sweet gum, black gum, oaks, bald cypress. Those are all your large sizes. And this is going to be in the executive report that the park board gets. Smaller species, the medium range, serviceberry, hornbeam, yellowwood, cockspur hawthorn, hop hornbeam. Smaller trees would be redbud, dogwoods, cornelian cherry, Japanese tree lilac. A couple of those are not native, but sometimes, although we preach native, sometimes only a ginkgo will do. So yeah, you do. Okay, so I want to finish up with your condition totals, the health condition of your urban forest. The last inventory we did, you had 339 in good condition. The current inventory lists 242. And that's because your trees are getting older. And as they get older, they're not always going to be in great shape. You had fair condition trees of 177 in the last inventory. Now you have 201. And those, if they're taken care of, may go to good if you take some better care of them. Poor, last time was 58. Now you have 89 in poor condition. Excellent, you only had 7. Now you have 40 that are in excellent condition. You're doing some really good work here in this town. And now you have 11 dead and dying, and we didn't calculate that the last time. So you're doing better, but just like with anything in life, there's always more work to do.